because late games, it makes sense. It's the part of the game you practice the least, right? Early game you practice the most, mid game, and then late game. So for people like me, I don't know, you get to late game, you don't know what you're doing half the time, and your opponent knows exactly what they're doing, and it's just not a good time. So but yeah, it was fun back then. It was good times. But I digress. Like spawning in the bottom right position, it is the Red Zerg representing South Korea, representing Kwangdong Freaks. He is here. Give it up for soO.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon LE in this lower semi-finals match, we have the South Korean Protoss player. He is currently teamless, but he's back from the military. It is the champion himself. It is Classic.
You alright there, lot? Zooming on that probe.
Oh, I wanna
privacy
just
laws?
get eyes on it, you know.
Alright, where is it now?
It's right. It's in the middle of the pack.
No, you've got it selected. That's cheating. Unselect it. Unselect it. Look away. I'll select it.
You're an animal.
Yeah, speaking of animals, Light, we have got a unnatural natural.
Ooh.
For soO.
Yeah. So nicely done here from Classic, of course, adapting to the current meta, bullying the Zerg at the start of the game and never allowing them to expand the way that they want. Smooch.
Zerg should just just give up their natural.
Yeah.
You know, don't give them the satisfaction. Dino Dark does it sometimes. But yeah, this probe's so annoying.
It is, and you know that's the crazy thing. The crazy thing to me is that there are a lot of people actually that started watching and playing StarCraft like during COVID. So they don't know that there was an era, there was a time when Zerg players could take their naturals. It's unfathomable, but that used to be standard. It's crazy.
Well, it used to be that the response was like you just take a 15 hatch, but that doesn't feel good when you when you just want to play a standard macro game. So Zerg just decide, hey, I'm getting the space anyway. I'm just gonna take it slightly early. And it does despite kind of putting Zerg a little bit out of their comfort zone, you can take advantage of it, make a couple extra lings, maybe send a couple across the map, just split off like 3 and 3 at each side, just make 2 extra Zerglings. Oh, there's a bird. Yeah, look at those animations, man.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but like
a robot.
It's beautiful. It's very twitchy, actually. It's
got ADHD.
Yeah. I haven't seen these bird critters used in these map pools before, or at least in recent memory. It's nice. It's nice to see something other than like the Artosalope or the Tastalope or the Doggos.
The Doggos indeed. So gonna get this around. Oh my god. Come on, there's the one little change like we haven't really discussed yet, the change to worker acceleration when they're attacking.
Oh, true.
I haven't really seen it firsthand because I guess no one's proxy raxing anymore. Except for Jinio. Was it Quanta or Jinio? It was Quanta, right? Who did it earlier?
Yeah, it was Quanta. Yeah, Quanta.
Yeah. It's something to keep in mind because is proxy rax going to be a lot less prevalent in the meta now? Do you think?
I imagine so. Maybe we're putting too much faith in the ability of pro players to like insanely micro their workers and shut it all down, but it's definitely something that could happen, so something we're going to be keeping an eye on. Meanwhile, when it comes to the opener of this game, as the game is slowly getting underway, Classic actually went for a Void Ray first, not an Oracle.
Yeah, interesting. This can have a couple of kind of reasons. You know, the first could be you want to hide scouting, you want to transition to something quicker, just get rid of that Overlord, stop things kind of running around. The second is you still go for that Oracle, which is what we see here, because a lot of Zergs will skip spores when they see a Void Ray opening, but again, soO is ready and in position. It looks like it's just going to be a standard...
he gets the Void! He gets the Overlord!
He does get the Overlord. It's a bit of a safety thing as well, because you don't have to worry about Oracle energy management, keeping the void rate home. But yeah, what do you expect? We've got a Forge and a Twilight, and 4 extra gateways. Is this going to be a Hero-esque kind of heavy gateway style we have here, Light?
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be charged, but we'll see if it's Blink. I would really appreciate it. I haven't seen Blink Stalkers in quite some time. There we go, +1, and there it is. Blink is on the way. Again, very unexpected, and it's a little bit difficult for soO to get his eyes on this just because of that void rate, but he should be taking notes, mentally at least, that there's only a single Oracle being made and gas is being spent elsewhere.
That's right. Normally with the kind of high kind of stalker count, high gateway count, you do have extra oracles. We have a High Templar archives on the way, and Blink and +1 attack as well too. A Lana Roach one. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a bit of a standard kind of game come about here. Just some, whether macro's better, whether control's better, which is always good to watch. But this Oracle, speaking of control, has been controlled into the ground, but that's okay. But yeah, do you think we're gonna have? There's surely Archons, right? Not Storm from this High Templar archives.
Yeah, I imagine it's Archons, but that's also why Storm. Oh my god, he's crazy. That's also why I was a little bit confused, because typically we've seen a kind of rise in popularity of Charged Out Archon as a composition of choice, but because he went for Blink instead, I guess we're not getting Archons, we're getting Storms. So really interesting unit composition here from Classic, kind of like a variation or an adaptation of Heroes Blink Stalker style.
Yeah, most certainly. This kind of makes me feel like he wants to go for a sort of kind of 3-base timing, Robo coming down too, just because you want to capitalize on Storm straight away, unless he feels like soO plays quite aggressive styles. We'll just take that gateway quite nicely there. But Aspire coming down as well. I guess seeing, the gas has taken a third, the full saturation, he's going to, we've got to come in and grab yet another one. He forces the cancel. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Roach and Aspire and Ling upgrades. This is interesting unit comp here by soO.
Yeah, soO committing into the Roaches for the time being. I think he hasn't really pieced everything together, but this is a massive scout. The Lings go to the forwards of the 4th base and they see the High Templar. I think maybe he could have been assuming that, oh, maybe there's a second Stargate and maybe something crazy like that, so he's going to get the Spire just in case. But now he has absolute confirmation of what the gas has been spent on.
Yeah, well, that's right, Light, when you're playing... Oh my god, this is a little bit scary, this small force. No roach speed, however. But yeah, when you're playing a Pros player that's got, gases at their 3rd base, but you don't see any tech apart from a Void Rain Oracle, so it's going to be spooky. Oh. Storm finished up, is going to possibly get a couple of these High Templar that does force him into an Archon, and this is a very small ground force, except for these High Templar. Very kind of scary. He has to be careful, soO, because he can't really retreat without roach speed.
Oh, but the Roaches are left on the other side of the wall. The Storm will connect, and a couple of these Roaches are going to get picked off. I was about to commend soO for accomplishing so much with so little, to force Archons and force Storms early on. Wasted resources for Classic, but he does end up killing some of those Roaches.
Yeah, and just with one warping, 7 Stalkers and a couple of Archons, this is now a bit more of a scary looking army. Bear in mind though, even though it is a scary looking army, it's not the most, I guess, supply efficient as these mutas pop out. Generally, Archon and Mortal armies are a lot more kind of scary army, kind of cost efficient than Gateway units and High Templar, but either way, these mutas could get quite a bit of damage done right now they're on the field.
Yeah, they are revealing themselves. What's important is that they're dragging the attention of Classic's army over towards the 3rd base. soO is getting ready for another Ling run by towards the south, and that's exactly what he's going for. Ooh, doesn't pull the trigger yet, though. He does pull back. He's waiting for a more opportune moment. The mutas so far haven't really done too much. They did kill the Void Ray earlier, and he's actually making another wave of mutas.
Yeah, he certainly is. He seems to be committing here. Maybe he's just trying to think that... make Classic think he's not going to commit and he's just going to double down. Baneling speed and +2 melee about to finish up with Hive now on the way. This is looking really comfortable here for soO. His creep spread's fantastic. The mutas are kind of keeping tabs on the army composition, and maybe want to force a blink here into these Lings, but no, it's not going to happen.
Oh yeah, the Storm and the Archons are in position, so the Lings don't find a way in. But again, as you were saying, I'm surprised by how passive Classic has been, and because of that passivity, soO has taken full advantage of that with the creep spread. The entire map is just being covered in creep.
Yeah, it almost kind of feels like Classic's kind of been hemmed in a little bit to this Stalker kind of anti-air To cover, if you look at the triangle third and you've got like the fourth base, there's a lot of ground he really needs to cover, and his economy, it's good as he takes it up further. It's not really kind of good enough to just throw down cannons absolutely anywhere as he transitions to Sky Toss, because with this army, it's going to trade out against the Zerg army, and you're going to need to remake it because it's gateway base, gateway units, which don't really have the kind of survivability that you see in the high-tech support units that Protoss has.
Definitely. So we'll see how this all kind of divulges, especially as Classic, I don't know if he really wants to transition into Skytoss. Here we go, soO, he's collapsing on the third base. The Banelings are rolling on in. Storms are looking pretty good, though. A lot of Banelings are falling, but can they get their connections? The entire mineral line is going to go down.
Yeah, and I'd say that'd be totally worth it for soO. Now going to probably jump into the main base here. It does take out 21 workers. He's at 85 workers himself. The High Templar Archives could be going down. Looks like it most likely will. And I think that soO this game, his game plan is going to be just not take a commit to a fight, like just pull them apart like so.
Yeah, I mean, the Lings were left behind and they take down the third base. Classic is down to 3 base economy right now, and soO doesn't have to force the issue, and he isn't going to. He's got a Greater Spire on the way. He can transition into Broodlords. Meanwhile, Classic doesn't have a Fleet Beacon. He doesn't have a second Stargate. He's working on charge.
Oh, some really good storms there. soO wants to be a little bit careful here. There's no base here. Does not need to kind of fight. He's got his tech coming. Not a good engagement to really take. As you say, yeah, charge on the way +32. And this could be a timing here that can be abused by Classic, because the Adrenal not yet finished. You've got some Banes morphing. You've got Corruptus as well. And this might be, a good timing for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think soO may have lost a little bit too much here. Classic is very all in, or very committed with this push, and soO is being caught with his pants down. He has Banelings on the way, but we still have another storm.
Yeah, some fantastic blinks. He's going to take out a lot of shields, but a low health Stalker is the same damage as a full health Stalker, and another Warp in. 6 Broodlords on the way. A lot of that gas invested into the Banelings that didn't get damage done, and Light. I think this could be trouble here for soO.
Yeah, even if the Broodlords finish, there's nothing to protect the Broodlords, and the Stalkers can just blink under them anyway. We have a wall of spines being set up. The Broodlords are behind it, but the spines are falling left and right, and Classic, he has eyes on this.
He does too, and Adrenal is finished. Gonna blink on the Broodlords, jump on top of them. soO's Adrenalings are now into the fray. The Mutas are being thinned out, and maybe with the units on the ground he can hold this, but that's a lot of Stalkers still, like.
Yeah, still a lot of Stalkers, and it looks like Classic has done it. He has the momentum, he blinks on forward, and he's gonna be able to take down every single one of these queens. GG gets called. Classic takes the first game.
Yeah, well, phenomenal there. A little bit weird by soO to continue to be so aggressive at a point where there's no kind of, you're not going to get any value, just kind of trading at units like that when there's no base. But Classic saw his opportunity. He jumped in before Adrenal, forced a bunch of Banes, forced the Broodlord camp to be precariously kind of built, and yeah, no, just how a game can kind of fall on a whim. Oh, I'm playing Inu. Let's go.
Oh, let's go. But yeah, congratulations there to Classic. He was biding his time for that. It was a +3 timing as well. I think +3 finished in the midst of his push. And as you were saying, soO was just a little bit too... He just stuck around a little bit too long. He was a little bit too aggressive, overly aggressive. After he killed the third base, just back off from there. But he stuck around. He lost a little bit too much supply. And immediately, Classic went for that counterattack. Oh, so yeah, soO just... yeah, just he needs to calm down.
He does need to calm down, doesn't he? But he played that pretty well for the most part. Like, I'm excited. I feel like there's going to be a close series between these two. Wouldn't be surprised to see a map 3 as we head into Gressfun. Like, oh my god, I'm so good at map names now. Oh. Spawning in as I try and find you here. Control +3 camera. The top left position. It is the Red Zerg representing Kwangdong Freaks. He is back. He is angry. He's playing well. Get up for the South Korean soO.
Oh, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gressvan, we have his opponent, the South Korean Protoss player representing himself. It is Classic. And, yeah, soO did play very well last game. It feels like soO, if this was a race, he had a really solid lead and he was in first place for almost the entire race. And then as soon as he saw the finish line, he tripped and fell and like broke his ankle, like, and then he just had to lay there on the side of the road and he watched everyone pass him. Like, oh my god, it was yeah.
It really was the hare and the tortoise, wasn't it?
It was. And it is, even though it's the year of the bunny, you know, the hare isn't quite the bunny, and
yeah, true.
Yeah, smooch.
But again, we have we've got a unnatural natural base, which how long does it have to be above 50% to become the natural? What's the deal here?
True. I think we spoke about this last week, right? Like, at one point, is this now just the natural? You know, like, and is there going to be a certain point in the lifespan of StarCraft where if the Zerg player expands at their like quote unquote natural, that becomes unnatural? Is that is that where we are now?
I mean, like, I'm pretty sure that like the unnatural natural is actually closer to the main than the natural. Of course, there's a wall in between, but I'm pretty sure that it is. So I guess it's been the natural this entire time.
Oh, true.
We've just been unnaturally casting it.
Yeah. Oh god. But speaking of things that are natural and unnatural, so far, you know, nothing too crazy. Classic is once again opening up Stargate. I'm curious how Classic is going to handle this wall as well. You know, this is of course Grespan, where it's quite a large entrance towards the natural.
It certainly is, isn't it? There's a pillar. It's just I'm surprised to not see Protoss players kind of vetoing this map, because you've got a super wide kind of choke at the natural, and then you've got like an overlord pillar right next to it that has full eyes on. So you either have to commit to walling off by putting your tech in the wall, which is a free scout for Zerg, or you have to delay walling it like we see here. We see a little gap, but eventually, you know, so far it's not been an issue. Protoss has got pretty good at kind of scouting out their opponent, you know, checking for the double inject when the queens pop, or if it's a tumor, and checking when link speed's coming. So it's been okay for Classic. It's not been a big issue so far.
Yeah, I'm sure that like David would love Gresvan. Like,
well, 100%, definitely.
Just 12 pool every game, Bobby. Let's go. Yeah, it's definitely something that players are going to have to adapt to, and it's difficult, like especially when it comes to vetoes, because I'm sure no one wants to play on Neo Humanity. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit rough. Meanwhile, oh my god, this adept got 3 worker kills, even using the spore to reduce surface area towards the end.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. As the Oracle comes in too, gonna get a couple more. Needs to be careful though, doesn't want to take hull damage. But yeah, even forcing a spore, yeah, you save the worker, but you still lose 25 minerals or so roughly. Or is it 24 light? I don't know. But either way, very valued adept there. Is going to get the scout off to the 3rd base. 2 oracles now. Wants to keep an eye on that oracle count. Also wants to check if the Cybercore is researching upgrades now that Wargate is finished, because that would mean it's going to be some sort of sky toss, which is not prevalent in the meta anymore, but does still happen. Meanwhile, soO's just droning.
Yeah, soO, he is just droning. He's trying to recover his losses, but there were a lot of losses, and the oracles haven't died yet. 6 drones have gone down already, and now the oracles are coming in for a little bit more damage. Thankfully, there is a spore in the natural, but Classic doesn't care. He dives in anyway. Is he going to get punished for it? One of those oracles, ooh, goes down.
Some fantastic kind of stutter stepping there by soO. It was very subtle, but I feel like it really did guarantee the Oracle kill. Not sure if it would have died and gone down otherwise. Expect to see +1 melee here once 100 gas gets filled up. There you go. And Adepts is going to be... Glaive Adepts will be the choice here. So, like, is this going to be just like a kind of pressure build, do you think? Or do you think he's going to go for a big, kind of huge wave all in?
I mean, this is pretty insane. A couple of things just happened. The second Oracle just died across the map, so Classic is in the dark. He has lost all the potential for scouting, or most of the potential for scouting. But to transition from double Oracle into 4 gate glaives is really odd, and this is designed to catch soO off guard just because of how off meta this is. So far there are no scouting lings in the area, but there wasn't Overlord over the natural actually. Like, this pillar is huge. soO saw everything.
Yeah, and I guess to be kind of fair, I don't know. Hold that thought though. Like, a lot of Adepts here now. soO, I guess, did not see them just yet. That is a lot of adepts. Like, is there any splash damage? This might just end the game here.
Oh, it may just end the game. A lot of drones are going to be going down. The Queens are having a hard time keeping up. Even though soO had an Overlord in position, it looks like he just wasn't paying attention. Another wave of adepts comes in from across the map.
Yeah, and you need to respect this a lot more. Great kind of surrounding with the Lings. Some surface area is reduced, but you know, when your Queens are pulled like this, you're running short on lava, and Lings aren't going to be able to reinforce forever.
They really are not. Roaches are on the way, but more drones are going down left and right. We've got adepts in the third base. We've got adepts in the main as well. soO basically on one base economy right now. And back at home, Classic is transitioning. He's popping out as many immortals as he can. He's getting ready for the counterattack, which will happen as soon as soO cleans this up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Adept kind of pushes, right, is if it looks even, the Adepts are kind of, you know, winning the fight, because as Zerg, you need to clean this up straight away. Adepts are used for harassment. They're not so great in a standing army, so he is going to be able to clean it up. But so many workers going down, reduced to 44. And a counterattack, oh, is it even worth it at this point? Because obviously, as you said, you know, Classic's going to be preparing for it. He's going to have some shield barriers back at home. He's going to have Immortals churning out and light. Fantastic kind of move there by Classic.
Yeah, I think the thing that's a bit of a shame is that Roach Speed just started. I think if Roach Speed was done, or if it had started in the middle of the attack, maybe soO could go for a counterattack with a bit of a +1 timing. At this point, it looks like it isn't really feasible. So soO, he's just behind. You know, he lost over 40 drones in all of that chaos, and now he's working towards an infestation pit.
Yeah, I guess he's just going to sit back, maybe go for some tech. He's going for +2 range, which is an interesting choice. Is Lurker's going to be on the menu here, or is it just going to be a...
It's going to be Swarm Host?
Swarm Host. Ooh, that'd be cool to see too, isn't it? But,
I don't wanna count it out. We'll see. There we go. Let's go, puppy.
Swarm Host,
soO, he is one of those Zerg players that is willing to go Swarm Host here in ZvP. It's more common with soO than some of the other Zergs, to be fair, so I'm cheating a little bit. So yeah, really interesting choice. It is a great way to make use of his very kind of troubling economy, you know? Like, you can get a lot of value over time. We'll see if we can catch Classic off guard with this.
Yeah, the one little thing I'm concerned with is generally with Swarm Hosts, you need to be on the front foot when you go into them. Like they're like ultralists. If you get them when you're winning, they're great. If you get them when you're not winning, they can really backfire. But again, it's a small army for Classic. He's going to high template. He's turning just a little bit, and you know, maybe there is enough to get done here with the harassment. He just needs to be careful, because one bad Locust wave could lead to a counterattack that could be devastating.
Oh yeah, exactly. These Locust waves are so crucial. Here we go. The first one is already engaging with the army. soO is coming in from behind, but Storms are going to be connecting with his army. These Locusts, though, they're focusing down the Immortals.
Yeah, wow. Actually, really good engagement here for soO. The Locust is still alive, getting quite a bit of damage. A lot of the army got stormed as well, so the shield battery is going to be popped. It's going to hold, but yeah, when you consider what soO lost in that, it was barely anything. It was Locusts and just some Roaches, which are pretty cheap.
Yeah, but maybe we spoke too soon, because now Roaches and Ravagers are going down. soO, I don't think this is the wisest fight right now. He's losing everything.
His +2 is just about to finish with 21 Roaches adding to the fray. This is it. The Swarm Hosts, once they kind of finish up, you expect to see just a small kind of wave to force them back. And now soO, though, is going to... I'd expect to see him really gear up for another big attack here, but forcing out half of the Swarm Hosts that early, it's a good move for Classic, even though he has to go home.
Yeah, like this is kind of best case scenario here. Classic, he killed a lot more Roaches and Ravagers than we really thought would happen. So soO, he's still in a good position. Like, he's still maxed. He's super maxed because he has a very low drone count. We'll see if he can pull this off as he's coming in again.
Yeah, and a little bit more mobility in this army, you know, the Blink Stalkers, and he's got the high ground. No force fields to kind of hold here, so it looks like soO's going to push up. Great concave with 3 Immortals. Once this Locust kind of wave goes down, yeah, he's going to be forced back, and this is what all Classic has to do, is just kind of... He doesn't have Colossus, so he has to rely a little bit on on High Templar for Splash, but just churn out that Immortal count, and that's what he's doing for the second Robo.
Yeah, and I love how active he's being as well. You know, as soon as the Locust Wave finishes, he has to be aggressive. He has to put on the pressure, but oh, does he have enough? That's the question. Another nice Storm connects with the Roach Ravager. Nice juggling here, keeping these Immortals alive. Ooh.
Yeah, the Immortals are so weak, but he is keeping them alive really well. And even though Archon in the fray too, 19 Roaches. So he's just going to look to batter down his opponent here, but keep in mind the economy. We have a fourth base for Classic kind of finish. So despite, you know, despite soO really kind of knocking on the door here and really putting pressure on Classic, if he doesn't actually break him, this fourth base economy advantage is going to be very detrimental for our Zerg player.
Yeah, very similar to the last game where, you know, soO's the hare and Classic is the turtle. He has, or the tortoise. He has to try and defend as best he can, and eventually he will outscale soO. Meanwhile, soO for the past couple of minutes has been stuck at 65 workers. Like, he is not really intending for the game to go on any longer. Ooh, a lot of Roaches are being caught out here towards the north.
There are two, and a push at the bottom as well. The good thing now, as we said before, like, these Locusts need to be dealt with. They're not just something you can kind of force and back off. They're actively threatening the economy here. As Warp Prison coming in, the Immortal count, to be honest, it's not. There's only 4. Actually, one of them going down now. And White, not too bad by soO this fight here.
Yeah, the Immortal count, you have to be very careful here. A lot of the gateways are being taken down. 3 Immortals are remaining. This time, nice dodges on those Biles, and Classic, he holds on a little bit longer. We've got another wave of Stalkers. We've got more upgrades on the way. That Immortal count, you know, it's getting a little bit higher.
It certainly is, with the double Robo kind of pumping them out. I'm a little surprised to not see some sort of like tech added in here to help out. I know it's hard because you're very stressed for supply when you do this unit composition, but I feel like the army of Classic is getting larger, like.
Yeah, it is getting larger, but the Biles connect once again. They're going to be able to chip away at this army. So Classic's overall army supply, like, it's still stagnating around 150. I worry, though. I feel like all Classic needs to do is throw down the second Stargate and start Void Ray production. Like, oh my god. Like, soO would have no answer to that. For the time being, though, he's going for a more harder kind of ground toss instead.
Yeah, it would be a reasonable kind of idea, but then again, Hydra Dens only take 40 seconds, so once you kind of find out your Zerg opponent is doing that, it's... Oh my god, these Immortals on the front lines, like...
Oh.
But then again, maybe, you know, if you see Zerg going for Hydras, you just go for your Colossus again, or you've got your, as you said, like the High Templar, so it's not a bad shout. Honestly, this base is not going to get taken out, unfortunately. It's going to be close, but the shield battery is going to be able to power through. It's just, where does soO really go from here? Actually, he's already got a Hydra Den. He's got a Lurker Den on the way.
Yeah, so soO, he hasn't droned. He's got less drones than before, actually, but he is looking to transition into Lurkers, maybe Vipers as well, as he outpositions Classic and is going to be able to take down this base.
He does, but how does he get home from here now? Like, this is a precarious situation. Swarmers to the south. Maybe you can reinforce with those, as these Immortals going to get caught. No, they're not going. Oh, yes, they are. Never mind.
Oh, here we
this
go.
Might be decisive moment, like.
Yeah, exactly. We do see soO has the high ground right now, and there are no shield barriers to support this army. Classic is trying to fight back into his own base, but the Roach Ravager army of soO is completely being eviscerated here. He is losing everything.
Yeah, and even the Swarm is going down now, but we see that transition. Lurkers on the way, Hydras and Roaches too. Is going to see, again, another commitment here by Classic, just like the last game. Maybe you can hit just before the tech finishes, but it's a lot of Blink Stalkers, and they're not the most fantastic unit against Lurkers and Hydras.
I just worry. I just don't know how many Lurkers there are really going to be here because of the low economy. soO just didn't really have a bank. He does morph in a couple of Lurkers, but we have detection. Or do we? Actually, we don't.
No, it doesn't look like, but only one of those Lurkers kind of get in the burrow. Those Immortals are going to stand firm and light. I think you're right. I think even with the Lurkers reinforcing here, that Immortal count, which he's kept alive, bruised and battered all game, is just going to maybe break through.
We're waiting for the observers. Observers are on the way. These Lurkers, the fact that they are invisible units, they're holding the line for soO, but he just lost the base. He just lost a mineral line. soO is down to less than 50 drones. And Classic is just waiting for that detection. Even if he gets it, no man, he's got so many Immortals. Yeah, like he can just bust on through.
He's certainly, you're 100% right there. Like as we said earlier, the was a Zealot Warp in the main as well. Oof, that's going to be almost a nail in the coffin. As we said earlier, soO's economy going for this low eco Swarmo style is not fantastic. So he got caught, you know, throwing his army and didn't get the most damage. He did get some good damage done, but he threw it away, and now soO has to turtle, right?
Yeah, he has to. I don't know if he wants to, but yeah, he's just making as many lurkers as possible. Classic is taking this slow. He's just clearing up all the creep out here in the middle of the map. He's going to be looking maybe even to expand. But because of the lurker count, we've got 7 lurkers in total, but they aren't all together. Like, soO's attention is being pulled apart because of the prism.
It certainly is, and you need to be very careful with your unit management here, because the units you commit into the main, a unit's not helping on the front line here, and he does have lurkers, but with the observers joining the frame, that immortal count, this is scary for soO. They're isolated, like.
Yeah, they are isolated. They need a buffer. They need support. The roaches are finally coming in, but is it too late? Oh, a lot of the immortals are going to be going down to these spines. The roaches are closing the distance.
Yeah, wow, it looks like soO maybe had actually cleaned this up somehow, some way, and he does get and reset all of the tech there. Phenomenal moves, but losing 17 drones could be the real story here. Like, all these 2 immortals is going to recall. Is soO going to be able to snipe one? Does not look like it. But wow, what a hold by our South Korean Zerg player.
We had some hero lurkers in that last fight where even though I think half of them died immediately, these 2 lurkers did so much damage to the front lines, to the immortals of Classic, and soO was able to barely hold on. He did lose a lot of drones though once again, so we're still in a pretty scrappy situation.
Yeah, we certainly are, and as you said, like, it was those lurkers, they threw themselves into the firing line of those immortals, the brave souls. A lot of them didn't make it, but they did manage to hold on as these roaches can push back. And now that immortal count reset, you know, this is still 4 immortals out already, 2 more to join. Oh my god, like, where does soO go from here? Because he doesn't have the economy to transition to Broodlords, but I don't know if just churning out lurkers is the best in this situation. 7 immortals going to be in the fray, you know?
I agree. I think we need Vipers. I think Vipers are the key unit right now for soO, but he's more focused on just rebuilding that lurker count. I don't blame him. Like, you need both, but he can only afford 1 just because he's only got 2 bases mining, barely 2 bases mining at that.
Yeah, he does have a small supply advantage, which is, you keep in mind the worker count's pretty even, is a telling army advantage, but this army here by Classic, it's small, it does look a little fragile, but keep in mind we have not gone Ling Bei in this game. We've gone for a Hydro Roach Lurker kind of unit composition. Sorry, Light, I just had a blank. And those High Templar can really zone out the army before they push in. These roaches, I'll need to be careful. Yeah, push on back, and Light, this is fun to watch. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. We were waiting for it. The Sky Toss transition is finally upon us. We have a Fleet Beacon and a second Stargate on the way. Honestly, Classic, I think he just needs to be relatively defensive and he can transition into carriers, but he doesn't want to let soO get back into this economically, so he's looking to try and deny some of these bases. Can he though? That's a lot of lurkers. Oh,
that's a phenomenal amount of lurkers. I almost feel like soO might go for a timing here. If he recognizes Sky Toss is going to be the way to go, again, just churning out Immortals. Tempest, interesting choice. Maybe wanting to bait the Zerg in and use those Storms and Immortals to clean it up, but yeah, looking at the economic situation, not a bad kind of idea.
He can storm from the low ground. He can. Oh god. There you go!
Oh man, what a race, man. I mean, what a map.
It is the map, to be fair. Like, this is, the ledge is so kind of, it's so dangerous here for any player to take, and 8 drones go down immediately.
Yeah, and I did mention what a race, but you got to keep in mind, quick little recall there. There's a lot of kind of fourth-based options on this map, and that is one of the riskier ones.
Yeah.
And it was just a risk that did not unfortunately pay off for soO. But he's kind of stuck with it now, going for that, the game state. Warp Prison coming the main. Hydra's going to possibly snipe it. Yes, they will. Good job, Hydras.
Hydras do snipe that. At the same time, Lurkers are pushing in towards the triangular third base here. The Tempest have been revealed. And there's not a lot of anti-air here available for soO. He's got 4 Hydras on the front lines, but he's going to get the base.
Yeah, I'm not the greatest fan of this kind of attack angle. I feel like you kind of probably want to attack from the north, but he is kind of attacking from the north as well. 10 workers going down. You want to be actively threatening that economy of Classic as this one lurker getting stuck under the Protoss army. Oh no, get taken out.
Lurker does get taken out, and here we go. Classic, he's pushing out across the map with an insane army. So many immortals. Look at that. He's got 9 immortals.
Yeah, this is really scary. That's just going to be a buffer that just provides for their army. The lurker count is now up to 11-10 as one gets sniped right now. And oh, it's 10 lurkers is scary light, but I don't think there's enough army on the ground to compensate for what he's going up against here.
Yeah, there's no answer to the Tempest either. Like, we have Hydras, but there are no Vipers to yoink and close the distance. There's no Spire, there's no Corruptors either. These Tempests flying a little bit too close to the sun, but as they do, they bait the army forward and the storm blankets those Hydras. Ooh.
Yeah, even grabs a High Templar with that bile there, but these Hydras, the economy's just not there to sustain them, and really good tech choice here by Classic just to tick away at the Zerg army. Ooh. He's got High Templar, he's got Tempest, he's got Immortals. Like, this army is potent AF.
Oh. It be slapping, Poppy, as the Tempests are just having fun here. Meanwhile, we do have one lone lurker harassing towards the right-hand side, but we also have a prison harassment in the main base. Oh my god, these lurkers, they're so exposed. They're all alone.
GG is called. soO is going to tap out, and Classic is going to take the victory 2-0 and be our grand finalist. Wow.
GG, well played. That was an intense, scrappy, close best of 3. Both games, I feel like there were moments where soO was ahead and soO was winning, but Classic, slow and steady, buddy. Slow and steady.
Slow and steady indeed, Light. And it looks like if we have a look at the bracket, excellent. Exclamation mark B in the bracket. Fingers crossed. Come on, Rex. Come on, Rex. Come on, Rex. Come on, Rex.
Oh.
They are still playing. It's Rex vs Dark in the other semi-final.
Oh, let's go, Poppy. Let's go. So yeah, we have a couple of updates, but yeah, congratulations to Classic for advancing on to the grand finals. It wasn't an easy semi-finals, and our condolences to soO because he didn't look bad in that series. Like, a couple of questionable choices here and there, but overall we saw some really solid play. Just a couple of mistakes at crucial times, which really kind of swung things in Classic's favor.
Yeah, certainly. It was soO played relatively well, I want to say. It was just a couple of decision making when he got to that the point to kind of tech up and change his unit composition. He did throw away his army in probably a little bit too much of an active way. He kind of threw away the entire army instead of shaving bits off. But yeah, unfortunately for soO, Classic is going to be the winner, but great kind of throwback series there. As we now go into our grand